Just a week on from my last bulblog video diary, I feel compelled to do another one because the garden's just moved on a bit. Not so dramatically as previous when all this sprung up, but just the subtle colour changes. The weather's changed, so some of the Erythroniums, the pink ones, mostly revolutum, this is a big clump here of Erythronium Craigton Cover Girl, one of our own hybrids. They're starting to go over a bit. They will set a bit of seed, the hybrids, and the seedlings don't look too dissimilar from the parent. Although they can't be called the parent, they can't be called Cover Girl. But the number of seeds they set, the hybrid set, is much fewer than the species. So in a species Erythronium revolutum, you could have 35 to 40 seeds in a fully fertile capsule. With the hybrids, Craigton Cover Girl and the like, you're coming down to you've got to be lucky if you get 10, sometimes even less, and sometimes none at all. So, but I just love going round and looking at them all. I see the different ones. This one's just taking my eye here a minute, just the shape of it. And here's one here, look, with 2 flowers on a head. Quite typical of where they pick up hybrids, you'll get multiple flowers. Whereas the species, not exclusively, but invariably tend to have single flowers. The Trillium grandiflorums here, the first ones out, they're starting to get that pinkness coming through as the cyanins develop in the flowers as they fade. And some of them, particularly Trillium ovatum, will go from the most beautiful white to the deepest purple as the flowers fade. But just a last look, look, here's a hybrid here with I found this, and I'll go down and maybe show you some of the ones I've selected the trial. But these ones up here, there's a whole bunch of them that are becoming very similar, that with a bunch of flowers all clustered at the top. 4 flowers on this stem, but not spaced out on the stem, all clustered on the top. And here's another one where they're arched over. I'm not sure what's more attractive. I'm not sure I like the bunching on the top. And then just fighting my way through the Trilliums in here, which was area that was all bare before, is now greening up with the polygonatums coming out, and the anemone, overtopping the anemone. Lots of Erythronium seedlings in there, so it'll soon become more carpeted. The reason I suppose it's not is because of these rhododendrons above its head. It's only recently that they've grown tall enough and the openness down below for me to be able to get plants underneath them. Just the fresh green of everything's so lovely. Here and here you can see some, this is a Erythronium japonicum. And I saw another one up there. I'm not sure if I can get into it or not. I don't want to go clattering about in there and stamping on things unnecessarily. But you can see in this collection here these little ones, these little revolutums stand out. And up above it here's one that's probably hybridized. because it's just these carpets and mixtures. I can't remember what this plant is. I knew I grew it from seed that I got from Gothenburg, but I sometimes ask for odd sorts of things that they collected. So I'm not sure what it is yet. I think this is be interesting to see what it comes out like. There's other ones deep in there as well, so it's fun. The other change is that I suppose that the Erythronium californicum forms have come out, so White Beauty, etc. Well, here I can maybe see a way to get in without too much damage. To see that japonicum. There it is, Erythronium japonicum. Another one coming up in there. Oh, sorry. You have to put up with me jumping about, I'm afraid. There's no other way if I'm going in and having to come out and shaking about. And the big Erythronium nemerosa form. I think this is a Robinsonianum or Leeds variety, one of those big, standing tall that can take the growing among other things, and it runs about. These plants, woodland plants, that run about in little rhizomes like the anemones and other plants, have a huge advantage over the bulbs that stay put in one place and just form clumps, which become competitors to each other and dwindle, whereas the ones that can move and run about are constantly seeking new ground. Here you can see a double white nemerosa form along with the lovely blue one, violety blue. The Philodicea caerulea come out a bit more. It's got a lot of sort of woody bits. It's a very old plant, and here's Cassiope's here at this side. These are a Wardii fastigiata cross. Up there's the Trillium hibersoni pushing up through the undergrowth, extending its stems, pushing itself up. I must remember and try and take some seed off of that. If seed's produced, I'd like to collect it and grow it in a pot this year. I've got it in other places where we just leave it to scatter around itself. Buzzing of the bees. There's always bees in the garden, and there's nearly always birds. Here we've got Creighton cream. Of course, I just did a walk a week ago. I'm not going to go everywhere today. I'm just going to show you where there is some interesting things. Down here we've got, this is Erythronium elegans crossed with the small form, this small form up here of Revolutum, and it's a rather nice plant, but they don't increase at the bulb really. They're very slow to bulk up, so it has to be by seed, but they do seed around, and the seedlings, as I've mentioned, do come looking rather similar. The anemone's nice in there by my wee trillium, by my wee seat with the trilliums here. These are rather a nice colour arrangement where the Erythronium, an Erythronium hybrid here, reflecting the colour of a Trillium, grandiflorum seedlings, and they're seeding out into the path. As I have mentioned, I always thought of the garden as a series of beds linked by paths, but more and more it's becoming one big wild naturalistic planting that you can only get round by walking carefully, stepping from slab to slab. So the grandiflorums, various different colours of pink, Trillium albidum, one of the Gothenburg pinks, what was bare ground not much more than a month or 6 weeks ago is now, you can hardly see the ground anywhere. The Erythronium nepenthoides there, they've been out for some time. Hope I might get some seed this year. It's funny because you get male flowers and female flowers, and the same plant can turn from male to female. Up here we've got some more of the elegans. What's this? Oh, this looks, no. Oh, that's interesting. That's a hybrid. I wonder if it's a cross with elegans. It's got pretty plain leaves. So I think it's an elegans cross. But just everywhere I turn there's things to look at. You can see this is not a single Erythronium nepenthoides, it's two planted out. I got a few seedlings and managed to raise 2 plants to maturity and planted them out, and now I really hope I can get some seed. You can see they're slightly different. It's just some of these giant plants when they pop themselves in these places. So pretty. So interesting. I can see my wild, I can see my cow parsley coming up, and some of the plants that will come later in the year. Yes, of course there's dandelions about, but just pluck the heads off. So you've got a lovely flower, feeding the pollinators and the bees. And they'll last about a day perhaps. These are the buds to come for future. And down here, these are the flowers that open, and all you need to do is you can just very simply pluck them off, and that way it won't be a pest and seed about. But I've also seen the birds, particularly the goldfinches, eating the dandelion seeds before they open into the dandelion clock. Here's one forming a little lantern. Look where the petals have stuck together. And of course the bigger the plunge bed. And we'll just come up and finish here where these are some of my hybrids I'm trialling with the bunch flowers bunched at the top. Trying to do 2 things here, trying to see the screen and trying to hold the plant so you can see inside it. So they do get everywhere. I could go on for hours, but that's probably enough of an update for you. So we'll see what comes out. It'll be some of the herbaceous coming out next, I suspect. So I'm going to sign off now, call it a wrap. Thanks for being with me again. Thanks for all your nice messages of encouragement. It means a lot to me. Thank you very much. And bye for now. Happy gardening.